Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is actually an excerpt from my new classic film photography podcast, where I chat with Lina, who's a Europe-based film photographer as well. She actually works for Adox, which means that she knows all about the film photography process and knows about the ins and outs of creating new products. So go ahead and check out that chat.
Via your marriage and prior to your marriage, so you've got all this exposure to ADOX and the process of actually creating film and creating a film business and all of that. I'm curious. You hinted at a couple of things earlier when we started in terms of like the challenges that the industry faces and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. What other really interesting things have you learned? Is there anything that really sticks out that you feel like most people won't
Oh,
know? There's probably a lot.
there's really a lot. It's, I guess, just the level of difficulty because before I was really completely delusional about all of this. And
Hmm.
to me, it was just like any other business where I'm the consumer. I want something and I want it like that.
Yeah,
And if I'm getting it, then the company is really dumb.
yeah.
And it doesn't work like this in analog at all.
No, no, that's important. I like that you say that because there's a lot of frustration out there right now in terms of film stocks are disappearing, and some prices are going up, and it doesn't seem like a lot of companies potentially care about the consumer. And I'm not dropping any names here. I'm just kind of regurgitating the
Yeah, yeah.
sentiments I hear. But part of me as a consumer myself, I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel that. I kind of understand. I don't like it either. But then you think about the business side of it, and especially with some of the things you're saying, there seems to be some real challenges that make things hard, and these companies potentially don't have a choice.
They don't. Uh, there are many challenges, and if I had to maybe point, one of the biggest ones
Hmm.
is that there are not enough young people who are not just not enough. There are none
Yeah,
young people who are trained as photo engineers or
yeah,
photochemists. Because back in the days, there was such a thing at university.
yeah.
So you could hire right out of university someone who could make you photo emulsion.
Hmm.
Maybe this person would make it according to university basic recipes, and you would
Sure.
give better sensitizers, you would give like a big production scale. So the challenge would be just to scale up this production from university
Yeah,
levels. But that was about it. This person knew what
yeah.
was going on. And now you get people who are like, I like shooting film and I want to work with you. So how do I make emulsions? And you're like, I think, do you have a degree in chemistry? No. Like, thank you for your interest. you know? Um, so yeah, and we have chemists. We took chemists who had
Hmm.
absolutely no idea about analog photography, but it is
Yeah,
interestingly a more adequate choice than someone who knows actually a lot about analog but doesn't
yeah.
have a chemistry degree.
Of course.
So human resources are one of the biggest issues.
Yeah,
And those old companies, they still have people who have not retired or are about to retire, but they
yeah,
work a bit longer. But those people have very high salaries. That's another thing.
yeah,
Of course, they worked for 40 years,
yeah.
30
And they
years.
deserve it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but the market cannot pay them this money anymore. The market
yeah.
has shrunk to a crazy extent, and with in Europe there are a lot of protection laws from
Hmm.
firing people. So, in a way, some companies had no choice but to go bankrupt because they couldn't sustain those salaries. They can't just, I don't know, fire half of the people, but then keep operating with another half.
Yeah.
No, they have to go completely bankrupt and leave 100% of people jobless.
Wow.
And this is really ridiculous. And that put to the ground a lot of companies, this kind of
Yeah,
workers' protection. I understand that it's intended for the good, but sometimes, life is how it is.
yeah,
The
yeah,
market gets smaller and you don't need that many people in the production.
yeah.
So,
So some
and
real business challenges, like some just key fundamental things that are just holding it all back. And yeah, the injection. It's funny you mentioned about like younger people. You're totally right. Like a lot of, especially nowadays, a lot of people love film photography. They do a lot of it, but some of the basic things about how it works and like what is happening, like a lot of that stuff is just not part of what people know. It's not part of the common knowledge. And it makes sense, because, with the internet, you can jump right in and start without having to go to school, do any of that stuff. But the beauty of that is the democratization, the access. But then the other side of that is like, well, we have this massive gap now of potential engineers and potential, like really true analog fundamentalists that can help, innovate or do different things.
Also, you can find, for example, some person who has researched on his or her own and read books and maybe is like super passionate, but maybe this person is a jerk and does not fit the company. It's as simple as that. You also have to hire good people.
Of course, the talent pool matters.
About other people, you have to have a good company spirit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot in the equation to find those perfect people. It's really it's human resources and training them. It's the most giant challenge.
Makes sense. Well, that's a lot of, I'm going to say negative just because I can't think of another word, but that's a lot of challenges, a lot of things that could get in the way. Are there things that excite you though about what you've learned? Like, what are the kind of the things that are giving you a bit of a positive boost or even some excitement for the future when it comes to analog?
Same things, they give me excitement because because I can see that it is actually possible to do analog production with less people than before.
Yeah.
As I told you, it would have been possible that some companies just fired half of the people and kept operating.
Yeah.
It just wasn't possible because of legislations, and because they would be sued to the ground by the people who they fire, or they would just drown in paying them off. It would be impossible. But it is possible to have a photo company now with less people, and sometimes it's extremely challenging for those people, but then you see how much they learn and how much they grow and how much they can achieve, and it's really mind-blowing. And what used to be a research department back in the days, like, I don't know, 40 people working on a research project now can be done by one, which is slower. It is slower, and there are also mistakes on the way. And of course, this person has also to rely on the knowledge from those past generations who have documented it. But at the same time, some incredible things are possible. It just takes a lot of time.
For sure. Okay, well, that's good. I wanted to ensure we had a little bit of a balance there, because too much bad news is never good, and too much good news is also not good. All good.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please go ahead and like. And if you want to check out all the other older episodes from this catalog, click the link down below as well. All right, y'all, I'm out.
I don't know how to introduce myself. I'm really, really bad at this. Yes, I guess I'm a darkroom printer mainly. If I had to describe myself, more than a photographer, for sure.
Sure.
And I like most education, actually, teaching others how to print. This is my biggest drive in everything I do. Even getting myself into the darkroom, I don't motivate myself. Okay, I'm gonna, make a really beautiful print and frame it and put it on the wall. I actually think, okay, maybe I will research this new technique or try this toning and whatever, and then I will write a post about it, or I will just do a video that is maybe short and dumb, but it will inspire someone to actually try the darkroom. So this is always my drive behind absolutely everything I do. It's been a pretty good drive. It's been working so far.